As Randy mentioned, this was the 4th race in the program. And again with the call, here's Dave Rodman.
And they're off. With a clean start, Tasty Cabernet strikes out from the inside gate, quickly joined by Pioneer Boy. Now Pioneer Boy disputing it out there with Tasty Cabernet. As Shah Jahan's into 3rd, and between horses, Clergy settled about mid-pack, and Sassy Hound under rating hole on the inside, 3 lengths, and that Spirited Pace up front. The Deputy is home on the far outside, and 2 lengths back, and Highway Prospector is the trailer. Pioneer Boy blazes the way into the far turn. Shah Jahan 2nd. Tasty Cabernet's back 3rd on the inside. Sassy Hound, the Deputy is home, continues 3 deep at the 3/8 pole and 4.5 lengths off the lead. Clergy's under a battle but losing some ground at this point, trailing the field. Highway Prospector. They're at the top of the stretch, and Pioneer Boy rolls for home and opens up on Shah Jahan, Tasty Cabernet, Sassy Hound, the Deputy is home, and all the others. Pioneer Boy sharp into the lane, now put to the whip, leads at 3 lengths. Sassy Hound emerging from between horses to try to close on for 2nd. Tasty Cabernet is running valiantly down to the inside, but it's still going to be Pioneer Boy at the 16th pole with Sassy Hound 2nd. Pioneer Boy, and the boy made the money track look razor sharp fast in 1:10-1.
Pioneer Boy coming off a 2nd place finish, beaten by a neck in the Fire Plug, but he gets the win here in the Maryland Breeders' Cup, which is a grade 3.
Ridden by Jeremy Rose. This was the race I was alluding to earlier that went in 1:10-1 that I didn't want to really give anything away. Tasty Cabernet, his stablemate, the gray on the inside, made a quick lead, but Pioneer Boy was quickly right out after them. And we talked about the Jose Santos controversy. One controversy that continues to linger in thoroughbred racing is that of owner Michael Gill. Michael Gill has just enjoyed phenomenal success at Gulfstream Park. They broke all the records, he and trainer Mark Schumann, for wins. And there are unsubstantiated allegations that maybe the Gill-Schumann horses are getting some sort of unfair advantage, to the point that he can't get stalls at any racetracks. They have to train their horses right now out of a training center in Oxford, Pennsylvania. But as you can see, Pioneer Boy certainly enjoys the farm life. Very impressive performance by him.
He has now won 4 of 7 in his career. Career earnings about $300,000. That entry proved to be pretty big there. In fact, there was a dead heat for the show spot
between Tasty Cabernet and Highway Prospector. So all 3 of the Michael Gill entered horses there, part of the entry, got a piece of the purse in the Maryland Breeders' Cup.
All of them getting a taste of the money, and as we see there, the time there, 1:10:35. That was the 4th race. We still have a couple more to show you here. And then the coverage will continue on ESPN a little bit later on. We'll return to Pimlico after a quick break. Glad you're with us for a brisk day here at Pimlico. One more race coming up, the 8th race. But right now, let's go to Janine Edwards. She's on the Jocks porch.
Well, I'm here with Edgar Prado. He has just a couple of minutes to spare before he goes out to ride in the next race, the 8th race. And Edgar was the nation's leading rider 3 years in a row, and he has a record 14 Pimlico riding titles, but you're based in New York now. How much fun is it to come back here to Maryland and ride, especially on Preakness Day? You, I'm sure, have a lot of fond memories here.
Absolutely. It's always nice to come back to the place that really helped you out and launch your career. I have great memories here, and it will be super if I win this race, because I have a lot of friends, a lot of fans here, and all will be for them and the people that helped me out first.
Now, going to New York, you were able to make some new connections with trainers, and one of them being Bobby Frankel, who put you on Peace Rules for the Kentucky Derby, who many people say he ran one of the gutsiest races they've seen in a long time. Is he gutsy, or is he talented, or both? And here he is. Here you guys are turning for home in the Derby.
Absolutely. He's very talented and gutsy horse. I mean, he had the courage. My guy, I thought he's going to finish 3rd, about 3 or 4 lanes behind the 2 horses in front, but he fought real hard and tried to come back on it. He showed before that he can put any horse away.
He's a little bitty guy, but boy, is he determined, isn't he?
Yes, he does try real hard. He tries, he gave me 150% every time, and I hope he did the same thing today.
I hope so, too. Now, you've ridden in 6 Preaknesses. Where does Peace Rules rate as far as your mounts?
Well, I think today's the best chance I have to win this race. Hopefully he takes the track very well, and hopefully he do a good show for the rest of the people come here.
What's your assessment of Funnyside, the Derby winner?
The thing is, I beat it once already in Louisiana, Hopefully I'll be able to turn the tables today again. And beat him in the Derby.
Well, nobody knows this racetrack better than you. You've got an outside post. What are your thoughts going into the race, and what have you heard out there from the other guys about how the track is playing today?
Well, I rode the early races. The track looked pretty good, pretty safe, and I think that you have the right horse, you can do anything you want with it. You can place anywhere and see what happens in the stretch. And so far, it looks like it's a pretty tough horse to beat Fanny Side because he's a fighter too.
Okay, well, we'll wish you good luck. I know everybody here in Maryland misses Edgar Prado, but he certainly is making a name for himself nationwide as well. Jeff?
Let's talk about Peace Rules, or more importantly, Bobby Frankel. This guy's won 4 Eclipse Awards, 3 straights, but he's never won a classic race. That's beyond my comprehension.
Well, for most of his career, Bobby Frankel was labeled, as trainers can often get. Early in his career, he was labeled as a claiming trainer. Then when he began to get top racehorses, a lot of them from Juddmonte Farm, Prince Khalid Abdullah, he began to be labeled as a turf trainer, primarily because those were the kind of horses that Abdullah was sending him. A good trainer like Bobby Frankel can train any kind of horse, any kind of race, and now he's just beginning to get the chance to show that with horses that are precocious enough to go on and run in these kind of Triple Crown races.
Dominates a lot of races in our series, the Road to the World Thoroughbred Championships. What would you label him as now?
Just an all-around fantastic Hall of Fame trainer. He'll go down as one of the best ever.
Yeah, and you know, if he turns his interest to trying to win those classic races, you can bet that he's going to get 1, 2, 3.
He's come close already.
Yeah, he has. And today may be his day with Peace Rules. Who knows, in the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes. There's the starting gate. We have an allowance race when we come back.
I'd soared down the stretch to take the Kentucky Derby. The question is, can he win the triple? ESPN proudly presents the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes, the second jewel in the fabled Triple Crown. From Pimlico Racecourse, the Preakness Stakes, today on ESPN.
This ESPN2 presentation of Today at the Preakness is brought to you by Citgo. We know you. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Long John Silver's, dive into something new. By Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. By Kawasaki All-Terrain and Utility Vehicles. Kawasaki, let the good times roll. And by Plateau Herbicide from BASF. We make Bermuda grass hay better. Equibase.com, your official online source for racing information from entries to results and everything in between. Equibase.com is a service of Equibase Company, the thoroughbred industry's official database.
We put our faith in the meteorologists, and so far they haven't let us down. They said no rain this afternoon. The track has improved to good, hoping to get a fast track by Preakness time a little bit later today. Jeff Metters along with Randy Moss. You ever been a racing secretary?
Me?
Yeah.
Racing secretaries get yelled at a lot. Randy wouldn't handle that very well.
You ever wanted to be a racing secretary?
No. Most people don't even know what a racing secretary is, though.
Well, that's true. And you know, Eleanor Mondale, in fact, did not know what a racing secretary was. So she went on a search to figure out exactly what goes into this racing secretary job description.
At the post position draw on Wednesday, the owners and the trainers were the stars of the show. But in the background was one of the most important people in the room.
Number two.
Georgianne Hale, the racing secretary for Pimlico Racecourse.
Nobody in the country works harder than Georgianne. She's here about 6:30 in the morning, sometimes earlier than that. She doesn't leave until the last race is run, and she does an unbelievable job. She's well respected by the horsemen, and she's tough.
Can you tell me what a racing secretary is?
A racing secretary is a secretary.
Can you guys tell me what a racing secretary is?
No.
No, I have no idea.
Explain to me what a racing secretary does. I mean, you think secretary, you think typing. You have good typing skills, right?
No.
Okay.
I can't type at all.
Can you tell me what a racing secretary does?
A racing secretary? Geez, races, I guess. I'm not sure.
We put on the races every day. It's our job.
Good afternoon, racing office.
To get all the horses, write the races, and conduct the racing card every day. We have to call the trainers and take the entries, hustle. We're like car salesmen.
Take a look at that. It's 2000, a 98, a 99.
But we have to call them and hustle them.
Incredible prices. We got everything. We got them all for you.
So that's our job every day. We start at 8 o'clock in the morning and we start hustling.
You can trust me.
You are the only woman in the United States doing this job. How did you get into the man's world?
My father was a trainer, so I grew up sort of around the racetrack. My mother used to help the dad train, and I was working on the backside for Katie Voss. So she got me a job as assistant horse identifier. He's the person that looks at the tattoo on the horse's lip to make sure the correct horse is running in that race. Then just kind of worked my way up and have done every job that's in the racing office.
Which one of you can tell me what a racing secretary is? Do you know what they do? What do you think it is?
Let me see. I have secretaries at my school, so I think they like type up races and stuff.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but not many people know what a racing secretary does. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
What about you? You want to grow up and be a racing secretary?
Yes.
Why?
I like horses.
Well, that's what a racing secretary is, and unfortunately that car salesman, his jacket looked eerily similar to mine. Well, you can see where the horses are in proximity to the gate for the 8th race here. The affirmed 25th anniversary purse is what it's billed as, and it's an optional claiming race.
Yeah, this is just basically an allowance race that they've sandwiched in on the card because it's got a big field, and that's good for the pick 6. It's between the 7th and the 9th races, so you know, we might as well show it, and you see they're circling back there. But there are a couple of interesting points to make in this race, though. First of all, the 2 favorites in the race are the number 4, Sins and Riches, and the number 5, Mojon. Now, we've told you before, the way the racetrack seems to be playing today is in favor of come-from-behinders. This is going to be an interesting matchup between these 2 horses because the 4-horse, Sins and Riches, goes right to the front and tries to hang on as long as he can. He's strictly a speed horse. And the number 5, Mojon, comes from last place. He comes from way back in the pack. So let's see which one does the best. Another interesting note, we have Prado Power, the number 6, against jockey Edgar Prado on the number 10, My Navy. Prado Power actually named for his sire, El Prado. And it's amazing that Edgar Prado actually made this race. As he was talking to Janine, they were playing the bugle for the horses to walk out on the track for the post parade. I thought they would take him off. Woo Boo at 20-1 and a couple of scratches there you see as well. They're going 1 mile and a 16th.
About midway through that interview, you started to squirm, and I couldn't figure out why. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Because they were actually walking on the racetrack for the post parade, and Edgar's still sitting there talking to Janine just as calm. I thought it was on tape, and then I found out it was a live interview.
It's one of those deals where Edgar used to ride here, so he's got connections, so he knows how to get a leg up a little bit late in the party.
There is a look at the favorite, number 4, Sins and Riches at 2-1. Green Silks. The jockey is Ryan Fogelsonger. He of the boyish enthusiasm in his black riding pants there, off-track riding pants. Sins and Riches is the kind of horse that has to have the lead. If he does not make the lead, he will literally stop to a walk. And I'm talking about losing by 41 lengths, 50 lengths. Performances like that. So Ryan's only got one choice. When the gate opens, hustle, send, try to get to the lead. Mojon is going to drop back immediately and go way back to the back of the pack. There are some other horses in this race as well that have a shot to win. It's actually a pretty evenly matched race, and it could be pretty entertaining to watch.
It's a good race maybe to get a feel for what to expect later on in the Preakness Stakes.
You're going to be handicapping the Preakness, and you want to know exactly how the track is playing. If Mojon comes from last to first to win this race, it'll give you a pretty good idea.
Horses continuing to load. 8th race at Pimlico today.
Right now, Sins and Riches 2-1. That's the 4-horse. The 5, Mojon, is at 3-1. The 10, My Navy, is at 4-1. And the 14-horse, Last Intention, who will actually break from post number 11 when they get them all loaded, ridden by Jeremy Rose, is currently at 5-1. So those are the 4 horses to watch. The official track conditions still rated as good. But again, don't be surprised if it's upgraded by fast by the time we get to the big dance.
Biff starting to load right there. Ramon Dominguez, the rider.
Some horses in this race are eligible to be claimed. The 1, Salisbury Gate, the 3-horse, Scottish Warrior. Those are the 2 in this race. And yesterday, remember, we brought it to you an optional claiming race, and the only horse in the race that was eligible to be claimed wound up winning it. Well, these 2 horses right now are 30-1 and 15-1. Salisbury Gate and Scottish Warrior are.
The 10-horse right there, My Navy, ridden by Edgar Prado, starting to go in. Owned by Joanna and John Schaefer, and they must be basketball fans because I had a chance to see Edgar Silks there, the basketball going through the hoop. And Janine, you got some comments there on the 9-horse, Viv.
Well, we're getting a good look at number 9. He's trained by Eddie Gaudette, who is a Maryland native, trained here for years. And this horse has been claimed so many times, I think they lost count, but he's won 11 of 33 starts. So that tells you this horse is very consistent. And actually, he's won 3 of his last 4, and he's had several wide trips. But just to show you how consistent this horse is, he has won for 5 different trainers this year alone. Eddie Gaudette claimed him 3 starts back for $10,000.
Viv goes in.
This is the world's slowest gate load, I can tell you that much. It seems like there are 25 horses in this race, but there aren't.
They don't seem to be in too much of a hurry. And there goes My Navy and Edgar Prado.
2 more.
2 more going in, and now let's turn things over to Dave Rodman, who will have the call of the 8th race here at Pimlico.
Yeah, they were adjusting equipment there on Hubu, but they've got him straightened, and they're off. And Mo John slow again today from the gate. He's last. Sins and Riches right out to the front, Last Intention, and in firing up there is Step at a Time with early speed too. Scottish Warrior racing along in 4th, and My Navy's next in 5th into the first turn. Close company for Prado Power and Salisbury Gate. They're in a little shoving match around there in a turn, about 6 lengths off the lead. And we drop back to Hubu, Wally, late running Viv, and also the late running Mo John. They're the back of the pack as usual, and some 12 lengths off the lead. 6 furlongs to run on the good track here at Pimlico, and Sins and Riches and Fogelsanger get company from Step at a Time on the outside. They're 3 lengths clear. Scottish Warrior racing 3rd. Last Intention alongside of that one in 4th. Then a break of 1.5 lengths. Salisbury's Gate and Prado Power in between horses. My Navy's 3 deep past the 4.5, followed by Wally and Hubu. Then go back to Viv, 2nd last position, and Mo John has to pick up momentum from the back of the pack and still about 13 lengths off the lead. Sins and Riches with 3/8 to go, taking him into the turn, Step at a Time there in the 2nd spot. 1.5 lengths, Last Intention makes a move from 3rd. Scottish Warriors next in 4th, another 4. Prado Power racing along in 5th. Salisbury's Gate followed by My Navy. Mo John still well back and still last. They're at the top of the stretch now, and here comes Last Intention and Jeremy Rose up to claim the lead. Step at a Time. Sins and Riches next, followed to the center of the track by Scottish Warrior, shifting to the outside, and there's 1 furlong to go, and Last Intention has the intention on winning this one, ducking in toward the rail under right-handed encouragement, but doing plenty enough. On the far outside, a late close from Scottish Warrior. Sins and Riches still hanging in well. Last Intention to stroll by 5. Sins and Riches, Scottish Warrior, and Step at a Time.
Jeremy Rose in the irons. Last Intention, pretty impressive here in the 8th race.
And this is another horse owned by Michael Gill, trained by Mark Schumann, claimed from by Gill and Schumann for $50,000 in February at Gulfstream Park. Good effort last time in allowance competition, losing by a neck to a good horse called Peak Skill, and Last Intention takes this one at odds of 5 to 1.
Things we haven't talked too much about today is the entry that we have in this year's Preakness. It includes Wayne Lucas, Scrimshaw, and also Senior Swinger, who's trained by Bob Baffert.
Yeah, you certainly haven't seen that very often. Lucas and Baffert together in a betting coupling, and I'm really, I guess, a little surprised that they're getting exactly as much betting action as they are. Of course, I'm expecting that price to drift up. It's 7 to 2 right now. But, you know, on paper, the 2 horses don't look like they deserve that kind of play, but certainly the trainers do.
Yes, they do. Let's go to the Jock's Porch and Janine Edwards. Oh, sorry, the Stakes Barn, Kurt Hoover.
Close enough. We got trainer Bob Baffert, who's won 4 of the last 6 runnings of the Preakness, and Bob today at Senior Swinger. A really impressive win on Derby Day in the American turf. What made you decide to try the main track back again today?
Well, I just talked to Pat Day about it. I was willing to take a shot. I know he can go the distance, not a problem. Whether he can duplicate on the dirt, that's the big thing. So we know he's an awesome turf horse, but the main thing, you want to bring a horse here that can get the distance without taking a chance of hurting him, and I think he should be able to get if he gets the right kind of trip.
And this is only the 3rd time you've had him. First, you get to run him back on the main track after he ran in the mud first time out, so maybe he's still not able to run on a fast track.
I know it. I have 2 muddy tracks, but I think Aqueduct that day was a little different. He burned on his heel, so I'm going to put the bandages on him on all 4 today, so you know, to keep him from burning. But it'll be interesting what he does, and you know, like I said, we're going to find out more about him. We're learning as we go along, but we have the turf to back up on, but we like that.
You've been watching races all day long. What do you make of the track and the condition? It seems to be drying out. Are you satisfied with the way it's going right now?
Yeah, I just saw a race right now. This track, it's amazing the way it dries out. It's a very kind surface, and I think some horses are, will like it. Maybe some won't like it. Yesterday was pretty bad. Santa Catarina really had a lot of trouble with it. She came back like she ran 2.5 miles, and so, but, if they like it, I think they'll run well. That's the main thing.
How about a couple of old quarter horse guys, Wayne Lucas and Bob Baffert, settling an entry on Preakness Day? Did you ever think that would happen?
This is the only time you'll ever see us root for each other.
Bob, one quick question about During, a horse you considered for the Preakness. He'll be running a little while in the Sir Barton. Haven't seen him for a couple months. How's he doing?
You know what? He ran some nice races there in Santa Anita, and he popped a little splint, and we were working on it. I ran up in the mud, and he got away bad and got behind horses. And he's just starting to come around. I thought about running him here, but he's not quite up for it yet, and I don't want to take a chance of hurrying him. And I'm trying to get my man, James Mattress McMaconville going here, but he's got some awful nice materials for next year. So I told him he's going to have at least 2 in this race next year.
We'll see what happens today, Bob. Good luck again as you shoot for another Preakness.
Thank you.
Bob Baffert going to send out Senor's Swinger in the Preakness and try and make it back-to-back wins.
One of the things we really haven't touched on, he's going for actually his 3rd straight Preakness.
And that hasn't been done in about a century, if I'm not mistaken. Pat Day did it as a jockey, but as a trainer, Bob Baffert's trying to do something that is almost impossible in the record books.
Point given, War Emblem, and could it be Senior Swinger today? And our allowance race that we just had, it's official, Last Intention getting the win, and in second place, Sins and Riches holds on.
And he held on pretty well. This is a horse that would prefer to be 4 or 5 lengths in front early, and yet he was hooked. I thought he was going to stop around the turn, but yet he finished a game second. So the racetrack is certainly playing honestly, and I guess what you can take from that is that a speed horse can hang on, and a come-from-behind horse, if they're good enough, can come from behind, and that's exactly the kind of surface that you want to see for a big race like the Preakness.
All right, racetrack stays exactly the way it is right now. Who does that benefit come Preakness time?
I don't think the racetrack actually benefits anybody, which is good. I'm going to give a slight edge in handicapping the race, since I don't think the racetrack is going to come into play to piece rules. Just because Funny Side's in an outside post position, I'm a little concerned about what kind of trip he's going to get going into that first turn. Piece rules has a little more speed than Funny Side, and I think he may be able to get a better early position, and that could be the key to the race.
Can you imagine what Belmont's going to be like if Funny Side wins today?
The New York bred, of course, he became the only New York bred to win the Kentucky Derby, and New York really adopted him. They really took him to heart. The legislature in New York, the state legislature, had a Funny Side day to honor the horse. Now, I think he actually made an appearance during the races at Belmont Park, where everyone saluted him. So if he were to win the Preakness Stakes, it would be phenomenal, the Belmont Stakes, and the turnout they would get.
If he wins today, it may not be Funny Side day, it may be Funny Side's year. Coming up on ESPN, starting at 3 o'clock, it is our Preakness special. Kenny Mayne's just to my right here, anxious to get in the seat. He'll join Randy Moss. Lots more racing still to come on ESPN, and that will lead right up to NBC's coverage a little bit later on this afternoon. As you can tell, it has been quite a cold day so far at Pimlico. Indy racing coming up next on ESPN2. The rain has held off. Maybe we're on a collision course with a fast track and a great running, the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes. Move on over to ESPN. The racing continues. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
The following is a presentation of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association and ESPN.
You're watching Citgo's Preakness Week coverage on ESPN.
The Triple Crown Express rolls into Baltimore for the 128th Preakness Stakes. And with it comes Kentucky Derby winner Funny Side.
And the gutsy gelding Funny Side has won the 129th Kentucky Derby.
His 12-to-1 upset of favorite Empire Maker brought unexpected acclaim and unwanted attention. But groundless charges against jockey Jose Santos have been debunked, leaving Funny Side to continue his Triple Crown quest. But once again, trainer Bobby Frankel stands in the way. The Frankel-trained Empire Maker was disappointing in his Derby defeat, but his supposed second stringer, Peace Rules, was a game third. And the Hall of Fame trainer brings him to Baltimore with high expectations. New faces are an integral part of the Preakness landscape. Today's renewal offers a selection of those who passed up the chance to wear roses to point for Pimlico. But 4 of the last 6 Derby winners have duplicated their success here at Pimlico, including War Emblem in 2002. Today we'll examine whether the New York-bred gelding is poised to go from unfashionable outsider to Triple Crown contender. It's on ESPN's Preakness Special. Welcome, sports fans. Baltimore, Maryland, Pimlico Racecourse. It's freezing, it's cloudy, it's windy, but we're having a good time. The Pioneers do not have warm weather racing, and they survived for many years. And so will we in advance of Preakness number 128. At least the course is starting to get a little bit faster here. Funny Side did arrive. Expected early this morning originally, and then Funny Side instead came in yesterday afternoon. It's 50, but that is an out-and-out lie. Would you not agree, Randy?
I would agree.
He's been out here a couple hours already. All right, we got good live racing going forward toward Preakness number 128 here at Pimlico. Funny Side, as I was starting to mention, was kind of up in the air on the arrival time, ended up coming in to the backside away from the stakes barn, and then got out on the track this morning, 5:40 a.m. This gelding is ambitious. We were sleeping, it was raining, he's out there. Nice little jog, light exercise, get to know the people and the culture. The Preakness conditions go this way, of course. Second leg of Triple Crown, Grade 1. That goes without saying. Whole bunch of money on the line for this Preakness. Funny Side is the favorite, expected to grab most of that, $1 million. Mile 3/16. That's the 16th mile shorter than they ran 2 weeks ago in Kentucky. And as usual, they're just allowing 3-year-olds in this thing. So, Randy, I mentioned the weather and the track. It rained. I mean, it was a total quagmire yesterday, as is said, but it's dried out a bit. Good now. Do you expect it to go to fast? That was the prediction.
I expect it to go to fast just like it did last year. They had almost an inch of rain in the 24 hours of Preakness Day last year, and yet it was still fast by race time, and I think that's what we're going to see today. The people at Pimlico did a fantastic job to get this track to where it's at, and it all started Thursday when they expected the rain to happen. They preserved it. They preserved it. They sealed the track. They rolled it down tight to protect the underside of the racetrack. And then when the rain stopped, as it did earlier today, it was still relatively fresh.
Is there some guy like in Australian rules football that goes, you know, waves his hands up in the air and that tells you that the track is fast? I mean, who actually decides this?
You know, it can go a lot of different ways. It can actually be racetrack management. It can be the track superintendent, whoever is given that responsibility at the particular racetrack. But it's usually the guy that takes care of the track. The track superintendent will make a call to the guy that runs the tote board and say, hey, we're fast now.
Well, no matter what the conditions, no matter what the weather, no matter what the field, this is the Preakness for the 128th time. I want to introduce you to the animals right now. Going to go in program order, not post order. Scrimshaw. Break from post position 2, part of the entry. Gary Stevens up. Wayne Lucas got in, ranked quite well in the Coolmore Lexington. Had trouble in the Derby.
He has a lot of early speed if they choose to use it, but Wayne Lucas told me this morning he wants Scrimshaw to sit just off the pace.
Senior Swinger 1A. It's another Bob and Beverly Lewis horse. Bob Baffert, the trainer. Pat Day's up on this. Ran well in that turf race.
Lucas and Baffert are entry mates. How about that? 9 Preakness wins between them, and Pat Day on Senior Swinger has 5 himself.
Cherokee's boy, Ryan Fogelsonger's the jockey. He got banged up on Thursday, took off his mounts Friday. He's been racing today, looks good, he's ready to go.
He's already won a race on the card. Cherokee's boy, another interesting horse tactically because he has post number 1, and he also has speed if Ryan chooses to use it.
Fufa's Warrior.